Okay, I just wanted to jump on real quick because I have a few minutes. My husband jumped in the bathroom, so he's going to be busy for a little while. So I thought I'd jump on and tell you guys a little bit about the differences between the business I was in before, which is Beachbody, and what I'm in now, which is Prove It. So I was a coach for 3 years with Beachbody, and I started with them probably 3 to 4 months after a big loss in my life. And in another video that you can see on this channel, I'll explain more about what that loss was. But my daughter passed away after a full-term pregnancy. She was with us for 2 weeks. So at the time, I was looking for something to lose weight with, and then it very quickly morphed into I need to help other people with this because I fell in love with it, right? So Beachbody was a outlet for me to help me help myself, and then also share with other people how much it helped me, so I wanted it to help other people. So being a nurse, that was huge for me. I fell in love with it. I saw results with it. I was helping other people get results with it. At the time, the business was different than it is now. At the time, we were selling challenge packs. Everything was on a DVD, so you had DVDs that you would work out with. When a new program came out, people would have to purchase them, even us as coaches, and nothing was streaming online. So at the time, the business model was pretty darn good. I had really good success in the beginning. I got to a diamond rank at about 60 to 70 days. I was growing a team. I was helping a lot of challengers. I was meeting the monthly quotas or the monthly goals of Success Club, all while still working a full-time job. And when I first started, I was working as a manager of an ICU and putting in probably 60 hours a week. And I knew I needed to change, so I was working the business really hard because I wanted the income to increase so I could then leave that job and go to one that was more, had more work-life balance for me, because I really felt like the stress was too much for me right after what I was going through with grief and loss and all that. So so I was working hard towards the dream, and I saw a lot of coaches that have been with the company for several years, and when they first started, living the dream where they were working from home. That was their full-time income. It was definitely more than what I was making as a nurse manager, and so I bought into that dream, and I felt like I wanted to do that to honor my daughter, to provide for my husband, to provide for my family, all the things that I felt like if I could make income that could supersede everything I've ever done, it would honor my daughter. So I had the big dream, and I was working really hard to meet that dream, and I was doing all the things, and I was feeling obsessed, to put it mildly, and I ended up becoming pretty addicted to the work, and there was a lot of work with running different groups and training teams and helping people meet success, because Beachbody, if you've been a coach or you've been in the business at all, or any MLM, a lot of the MLMs, your rank is dependent on everyone below you. So if you don't help the people that you sponsor into the company, you don't help them succeed, then your rank suffers, your income suffers. And being that this was the first company I really went all in with, I didn't know any better. I just went with it. I dabbled in a couple other businesses, like a home jewelry business where you do the parties. I did another company that was all non-toxic products and that sort of thing that you can use in your home. But just dabbled, and I never saw the big picture, never really believed that it could be something that could take over my income or change, replace my income. So Beachbody was the thing that I fully, with my whole heart, believed that I could make this work. I could make the change in my life. It went along with my beliefs of health and wellness. It went along with my beliefs to help people overcome things with mentally, because we've focused highly on personal development, and I just put everything I had into it. And over time, I found out that it was to the detriment of the rest of my life. I didn't really deal with my grief because I had the belief that I needed to stay busy. My dog is starting to bark, so bear with me if he starts barking. I had the belief that to deal with grief, I had to keep moving forward. I had to stay busy, which, by the way, that's a whole nother topic, and I'll discuss it in another video, but shh, hey, sorry guys. So I had decided to, I let that spiral, and I was managing, I think, 4 accounts to maintain my own rank. My team was struggling. They were not succeeding. Even with some of them had a great work ethic, and they were doing all the things, and they were not advancing their ranks, and they were struggling. And the amount of busy work was just, it was just overwhelming. And over time, I let it consume me, and it's because I had the belief. I had the whole heart, all in belief that I could make this happen. And then over time, I started to see how it was affecting relationships around me. It was affecting my friendships. It was affecting my family. I was dealing with, my family was being let down by me, and I didn't want that to keep happening. So I ended up getting on antidepressants during the time I was working with Beachbody. Not because of Beachbody. I don't want you guys or anybody to think that is the case. I was dealing with my grief, and that, coupled with just staying busy and not dealing with my grief, caused me to kind of lose my thinking, and I wasn't able to focus and keep a thought. I was having a lot of trouble completing things at work, in my business, all of that. So I did go on an antidepressant. I was dealing with some anxiety, and then I continued to work, and the business changed. They went to streaming. They changed how the income was coming in. So everybody's income had dropped. Everybody's volume had been dropping, and people were frustrated. Everybody was really frustrated. And being that I didn't know any other way, I still wanted to stick with the company and still believe in it. And then last year I hit a fitness goal, and that, coupled with where the business was, and I was seriously paying out more money than I was making at the end. I was spending more money maintaining my accounts than I was bringing home, and it was becoming a detriment to our finances in our house. So I was able, within the first year, I was able to leave my management job at the hospital and work less hours, so I had that work-life balance. But at the end, from that point on, I started having to maintain more accounts, and it was just backwards. So last year, I decided that I needed to make a change, and I was not happy in the business. I was not happy with where things were going. nobody was having the success. The upline, our upline was frustrated, to say it simply. And I knew I needed to make a change. I didn't know what that change was going to be. So I decided to just take a step back. And at the same time I was taking a step back, people were leaving left and right. And I was approached about another company with Prove It. And I had heard about it and I didn't believe in it. I was absolutely against it and I thought it was a bunch of crap. And I didn't want to think about anything else because my heart was still so much with Beachbody. So at that time, it hit me that I needed to make a change, so I decided to look and listen and open up about it. So I did, and I listened, I did some research, and I bought myself a 10-day trial, and I drank the ketones, and the first day I was blown away by the energy. That was not a stimulant. I was addicted to stimulants for caffeine to keep me up and going through my long days of working both jobs. And this was not a stimulated type of energy. It was, I had focus, I had energy, I had, my brain fog was going away. So I really dove into the science and I really wanted to understand it more. And so I decided to break my ties with Beachbody and jump in with this new company. And at the same, so when I was introduced to ketones and the company, I really wanted to be sure that it wasn't something that I was going to jump back into and it was going to be just as difficult and busy. I'm all for helping people and I want to do a home business and run and do something that really benefits other people on the side. And so when I did the research, a few things just hit me that were, and I was hearing this from other people, was that, you know, you're not running all the groups. You're not having to deal with all the training. You have an amazing company that is providing training. Shh. Sorry. That provides training every week. There's training calls every week. There are update calls every week. You have all the documents ready for you. You don't have to create anything. You don't have to have challenge groups every month or, you know, every 3 weeks or what have you. You don't have to have new coach training groups and make videos for the training and teach people all that stuff. You obviously teach people, but it's nowhere near at the same level because so much is already there and easily laid out for you, because the company they're new enough where they've looked at all the compensation plans that are out there and they've really created the best compensation plan that's out there, that where your rank is not dependent on everybody else that you have sponsored. Like seriously, you can do all the work and rank advance on your own. If somebody joins you, great, and if they run with you and they want to join you arm in arm and do the same type of work because of your same work ethic, great, you're going to benefit. But if you have people that join you and just want to get free ketones, you don't have to worry about them failing or not putting the time in and feel like you've put all the work into them and they're not doing anything, and then you get the detriment of it. And there's no fees for discounts. So that's another huge thing for me, is that with Beachbody, we ended up having a lot of people that would join as coaches because they wanted the 25% off discount, which I'm all about getting people discounts and I want them to have that, but they pay a fee for it. For us now in Prove It, everybody gets a discount just as a monthly customer. So there's no monthly fees. It's really a great benefit for customers and promoters. So last year, when I knew I was ready to make a decision to either just stop everything or start with this other company, Prove It, I wanted to make sure I was making the right choice. And after trying the product and seeing how my brain lit up, I was, and then all the research, because my mind is so science-based from being a nurse, I needed to know it was safe. I needed to know it wasn't a quick fix. It's not a weight loss product at all. Weight loss comes as a benefit, but it's not, it doesn't happen for everybody if that's not part of their goals. So that's one of the great things about this. I was totally sold that it was a weight loss product. And actually Beachbody, they believe it's a weight loss product, which it's not. So it's kind of a sad thing that they don't allow you to work within another company. I understand the competition, but it's not a competing product. They just don't know. So, but the science is there, and it is changing the fitness world and the athletic world, because it's a fuel source that is you can't get anything better. I won't even bore you with all the science, but it's a preferred source of fuel for not only your brain but also for your body and your muscles. So so when I left Beachbody, I decided that I would join Prove It because I believed in the product. I loved what it was doing and in my brain and helping me focus and help me feel like I could focus again, and I could get through my day without taking a bunch of caffeine, coffee, pre-workout, all that stuff. So and what it did was I had to get myself off the cliff because I was working so much. I had so much busy work with all the with the learning, with the running the groups, with the trainings, with all the work it takes to meet Success Club, all that stuff, managing my 4 accounts, blah blah blah, all of that. It was not something that I wanted to continue, and I didn't know how to get off the cliff. So it took me a while, and I was able to start focusing on myself. So I started therapy for my grief counseling. I was able to come off my antidepressant because I was no longer having to overwork myself, and I was learning how to not be a workaholic, and I was able to spend more time with my family. And here it is now, beginning of September of 2018, and I have a business. I am not focused on, or I'm not worried about what everybody in the team is doing. I'm able to see people succeed and celebrate them for what they do and not feel like I have to rely on them. And I'm able to use ketones at a discount, and I get a discount because I'm running my business, because we earn a certain amount of dollars towards our ketones each month, depending on your customer base and orders and that sort of thing. So I am spending, I don't know, a ton less maintaining my business, it's just my own personal usage of ketones that I am buying between my husband and I, because he likes his amount of ketones, I like my amount of ketones, and I'm not busy all the time. I'm able to put more time and energy into my family, my house. We've been able to pay off debt since last year. We have totally changed everything about our lives in this last year, and I have to say it's because I finally made that change. And it was a hard change. It wasn't the easiest decision to make, because I was so in love with the community, and I made some great friends. And unfortunately, when you leave a company, there's not a lot of understanding of why people leave, and there's a lot of fear. I felt like there was a lot of fear from people that, you know, stealing of customers, stealing of business builders was going to happen. And I think that's really crappy for anybody to do that. And it taught me a lot last year of, you know, your own character, and, you know, be sure to not be swayed by other people, and don't pass judgment on other people. You know, we're all guilty of judgment, and I think it's something that we have to work on a daily basis, is to not judge other people because you haven't walked in their shoes. And I just think that when you change companies from one MLM to another, it's not an easy decision for anybody. And there's a lot of thought that goes in behind it. And for some people, it's going to be financial. For me, it was both my mindset, and it was also financial. I needed to make that change. And, you know, it was the best decision of my life, because I've come so far in my grief journey in this last year. I have come so far in our finances. I have come so far in our home life. Our family, you know, connection is so much better in this last year. I will never regret making that step, but I will also never regret the fact that I started with Beachbody, because I learned so much from them. I learned so much from the team. I learned so much about running a business from home, and I was able to take those skills and bring them with me and decide how I want to run my business. And it's not on anybody else's terms. And it's not out of feeling guilty if I don't maintain something, that it's not affecting somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's all on me. This business is mine 100%. I make it my own, and I run it the way I want it run. And I will celebrate anyone that wants to come join me, and I will celebrate their successes, because it's on them. And I will help them do whatever they want to achieve, because I'm all about meeting you where you are. I don't need anybody to make my business be more than what it is. So, you know, I just wanted to give you guys kind of mainly an oversight of what this last year has been for me, because it has been absolutely life-changing, and I couldn't be happier with where I am today. And if you're in another MLM or with Beachbody, and you know, you're interested in hearing more, then message me. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, and I'll just tell you, you know, I'll just let you know anything you want to know. It's a hard decision, it's not easy, and I know, because there's a lot of relationships you build, there's a lot of love in the community that you work in, and I think, you know, it's got to be the right decision for you. So, but for me and my family, I couldn't be happier. I can't be more grateful for what Prove It's done for my life, and seeing what it's done for other people's lives. And I feel very blessed to be a part of this journey. And that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. So you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you later.